Hello, welcome to Flory Models Kit Review time. Today we've got Bandai's latest release. This is the amazing Millennium Falcon. This is 1/4/4 scale, so it's quite a diddy version, but as I said, plenty of detail on this one. We've been waiting for this one to come out for a while. This is the new one, so obviously this is the Force Awakens version of the Falcon, hence it's got the slightly different radar on there. I think it's got slightly different guns on it. There's a few little differences between this and the original trilogy ones as you work your way through it. But needless to say, beautiful box art as we know from Bandai. This is what you can expect because this is the actual kit itself, fantastically painted and done, okay, right the way through. Obviously some pictures from the film. Some of the details we get this one, including little crew figures, okay, in 1/4/4 as well. Beautiful box art. So you've got your kit number, this one is 0202288, okay, and your Millennium Falcon details just down on here. On the back there, just like that. Nothing on the back for this one, just a black box. So, in the box itself, we get the lid off. It's like an iPhone, pops out, keeps that going. Okay, absolute stuff, completely. So it's quite a large box. Let me just go hunting for the instructions and things. All right, so, the instructions themselves should be quite a little bit more than what we're used to be honest with these ones. So we have got some little information things and everything else. Somebody approached me recently, sorry I forget your name now because I've just thought of it off the top of my head, and we're saying about this click business. Apparently I call it click, where you get the two lines and everything else. I'm told it's not. Now, I don't know, you know, I'm not saying I'm right or this other person's right or whatever, but I do know it clicks when it says it. When you do it, you give it enough and you hear a little bit of a click and it bites together. Apparently, he was saying it just means special attention to make sure that it's completely done and it is together nicely. But I just find that it seems to click when it says click. I've built quite a few of these. We've done X-Wings, TIE Fighters, ATSTs, things like that so far. And they all seem to have that little thing. When it says it, you give them enough oomph and they click. So needless to say, it's talking about obviously various things that are going to open up on this one, so you can have a look inside it. Different subsections. So subsection 1 is running around the front, putting in the cockpit area and all those things. Crew figure, I think you've got choices of crew figure who you can actually have down in there. All right, and then obviously we're working our way down the front. So the front portions of this one going in again, making sure obviously you get them around the right way. This beautiful detail, of which there is lots of this one on this kit. It is very, very nice how all this goes down in there, putting those all in, okay, and then obviously onto the other side is a mirror technical image of itself. Then we're working actually on the main part itself, the main hull. So putting in the internals into this one, getting down the bottom here for the rear top and bottom gun system, and then adding the actual wheel wells into this one. Well, not wheel wells, leg wells, shall we say. How many legs has this one got? Because they tend to change them over the different films. Okay. So it actually looks like this one is going to be, is this the 4-leg or the 5-leg version? Or is it the 3 legs? You might remember in the early ones it was 3 leg, then it went to 4, then it's 5 or whatever it is. So different versions, okay, running right the way down as you can see, getting all these parts put in. More details going through. You've got the docking ring system going down there on there like that. Okay, the engine parts for the actual engine glow, which is slightly different obviously on the newer version to the old one, and then right the way through. Adding again all these beautiful little details of these piping sets and everything else down on here. Now it does talk about this LED business. Now I want to have a look in here because I haven't been through this kit yet for obvious reasons. As you know, I like to review these blind, but I was talking to Steve and I've spoken to a couple of other people about it, saying it talks about the LED system. Is that a separate buy? So we'll have to look into that one. Okay, so generally working right the way through. Okay, all the parts going in, and then before you can button it all up together, okay, right the way through. The exhaust systems on this one, for the venting, okay, right the way through, or the cooling ones I should say, cooling exhaust, okay, in right the way through. Beautiful detail, as you can see, lots of this one. Still talking about this wiring set coming through, which I assume is an optional extra, okay, and then for the cockpit lighting as well, right the way in, all the way through this one. See, this is the 5-legged version, I assume, judging by the way it is. All right, and then you've got the stand for the stand fitting going on this one. And it looks like obviously Jakku, which is going to be where the major thing from the new Star Wars film is, obviously on this desert planet, and then right the way through. And then obviously talking about the gear, because obviously there's plenty of gear on this one, and we've got the walkway, internal ramps in and out. Look out, Harrison, don't get your foot caught under that. Okay, and then in there just like that. So it looks like it's all completely different on the rear end. You've got very large rear legs on this one, and then 3 little ones on the front. Okay, putting those in just like that. And then obviously big old job with your decaling, because we've got those over there, and all the parts going down there. I've got BB-8, all the figures in there, as you can see. Colour call-outs, bit of a mystery on this one, right the way through. So in here, we've got both types of decals. I won't bother getting these out because we can see them anyway. The decals are beautiful, the stickers are not brilliant at best. Okay, so very much a nice choice of decals through there. And then into here. So let's get out the bigger parts first, of which we've got lots. So as you can see, 1/4 scale is not going to make you a huge model here, okay? Get him out. I haven't got my normal knife and I'm lost. So generally, if we just drop this top cam down so we can have a nice good close look at all of this. This is the underside, as you can see. So we've got the 5 wheel wells for the 5 gear. Looking round at it, beautifully done. Some very nice, very sharp, crisp detail. Obviously for the actual, this is the docking collar side. No problem with that at all. Some very nice, sharp, crisp details. We're assuming this is all actual, you know, film specific. Okay, right the way through. Got the normal lowering door or hatch or entry gantry, things like that. Again, very nice. You can see, you catch this one on the light, extremely nicely done. Obviously we're going to have to cut this part out and all the bits down in there. So 2015 Bandai Japan, you catch it just down there, there we go. So we know this is a nice fresh kit. These large locating tabs, which work so well with all the Bandai stuff, very nice indeed. Then we got the top. Okay, so again, extremely nice detail. You catch all this in the light. Beautifully done, very nice on all of these. Extremely beautiful, crisp detailing down here on the front. Has it got? Well, obviously we're hoping to have the internal detail down in there as well. Okay, for the clam, beautiful stuff. No problem with any of that at all. Loving this detail. A great attention to detail. And then we've got, I think the aftermarket guys have already jumped on this one a little bit, because I'm pretty sure I've seen you can convert it to the old one with the old radar set. Again, looking at with the way these hoses run and everything else on this, as you can see, very nicely done on this. Very sharp, very crisp. Okay, this is the gear. You can see quite chunky, big, heavy gear on this one these days, all the way through. But it's nice that it's got a good sense of depth, that these will run inside, and obviously there'll be detail in the inside of these. That it is very nicely proportioned, and the hose systems and everything else that comes out of it, extremely nice indeed. And on the other side, so down here we've got the actual, the bit that sticks out, if you like, for the actual cockpit. Again, beautiful detail across the top, and again, it's really sharp to touch. Very fine, very crisp detail on all of these. Very nicely done. As you can see, beautifully done. Okay. So this is the rear plate. This is one of the things that's slightly different with this one. It's actually a lot more the filter system for the actual exhausts for it at the back. Seem to have smaller little windows on all of this version. Docking ring collar there with the actual hose system that runs around it. The grills and vent system down onto this one, very nicely done. Part of the gear for those landing pads. The actual gun turrets, again, very nicely done. Very nice, very sharp, crisp detail on all of these. Okay, and then on the other side, we've got sort of a little bit of a match pair going on down here. Okay. Then, as you now know, which is a beautiful way of doing it, which I reckon will become the standard in years to come, we've got clear parts with everything else, and this is where this kit really shoots to life. So Starting at the top here, we've got that blue ring. So we need to look at obviously getting one of these LED light sets for it before you use to build this, because I think it's really going to make it happen. So down here we've got the cockpit glass, again, beautifully done, very nice, very clear. We've got the guns positions, the turrets top and bottom. Okay, very nicely done again. And then all of this detail running right the way through. And this pipe work is absolutely exquisite. It is so tiny. Very thin, extremely well done. No real sign of burring on it, which is a miracle. In fact, it's more than a miracle. I can hardly see any burring on that whatsoever, because it is literally that good. The crew. So obviously we've got Chewbacca down here, obviously standing and seated. Everything is a duplicate for standing and seating for the actual crew as we work our way through this one. Very nice, and even little BB-8 just down there like that. Beautifully done. Okay, and there. Okay, so again, more details. As you can see, we've got the cockpit, so you can either have the glazed version or go film version, the same as all the other ones, which is beautifully done. This is what I was talking about, this section down in here. A lot of model kits, they miss this internal underside detail between the two, and as you can see, there it is there and there, beautifully detailed to the point of absolutely exquisite. This detail in here is absolutely amazing. This is 144, and it's better than anything else I've seen on any other kit, if I'm honest. And let's face it, I have seen a few over my years doing this. Very, very nicely done. Very sharp, very clean, crisp, and we're assuming, I haven't obviously seen the new film and the detailed pictures of the new Millennium Falcon yet, but we're assuming these will all be 100% film accurate, okay? So that is what we're talking about here. The level and the attention to detail and all the Bandai kits is absolutely beautiful, okay? And one of the things I think we've going to move away from in the film world now is kit bashing. Doesn't happen anymore like it did. It used to be, as the original Star Wars were done, and we do know obviously Millennium Falcon and all the X-Wings and everything else that went through it, the Star Destroyers were all made up of ship kits, car kits, armour, and it's a case of spot the kit part. Unfortunately, those days have long gone now. They don't tend to do that anymore because they don't want anything to be recognisable. So it's not like looking at it thinking, there's a Stug barrel, there's tank track, that's you know, the actual header off of a Merlin engine, which seems to be the staple thing of most of the early Star Wars stuff. These days it doesn't really work like that anymore. They've moved away from that to try and make parts unrecognisable. So again, but this stuff is absolutely amazing. This is the all-important side areas that you actually get when the Millennium Falcon is together. It's all this stuff running down in here, which is, you know, obviously that detail. This is all of this stuff, which is absolutely fantastic and absolutely beautifully done. Very, very nice. Okay, and last up we've got a bit of a bigger base, as you'd expect, and as I say, Jakku seems to be the one now. Okay, so again, beautiful sand texture and everything else like that, and the stand positionable. I'm going to go with all the other bits and pieces just like that. Nothing really special with that one. So there you go. Again, Bandai, what can you say? It's beautiful. The Star Wars stuff is some of the best moulding I've ever seen, full stop. This again is definitely one of those kits where it's a bit of a must if you're a Star Wars guy. And again, it's not going to be too big. To be honest, I've got other Millennium Falcons coming up for review over the next few weeks, and I've got a 72nd one that's turned up and everything else, and we'll be looking at the different scales and the ones you don't have to break the budget on. Some of them very cheap, and I reckon you could do an absolutely fantastic job on them. But again, if you want something to go in your collection that's going to be sort of, you know, one of those things you're going to have for a long, long time, then the Bandai kits are well worth the investment. Little note on this, people have been asking me obviously where about I get mine from. I say I've got a colleague of mine, he obviously lives in Japan, he's been sending me some of them, but also there's a couple of dealers in Japan which offer free shipping. It's a bit slow getting here, but I think we didn't pay much for this at all. In fact, it was free shipping and it was around about £30. So it was absolutely fantastic. I think it was about £34 with free shipping, and it only took 2 weeks to get here. So really, that's no time at all. If you can, you know, you're not worried about waiting, just go ahead, have a look around about eBay Japan. There's loads of them on there. You can just buy them in and get them anywhere in the world. So don't be too much, oh Bandai, you can't get it in Europe, you can't get it in the US. You just have to go and get it yourself from the usual things. But if you have a look, shop around, shop-wise, they are around and you can get them in. Just going to take you a little bit longer to get them than perhaps normal. But again, there is some real good dealers out there that will quite happily be able to sort you out wherever you're on the world. So there we go, that is the Bandai's brand new Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Awakens edition in 1/4/4 scale of the Millennium Falcon, a must have.